Jack here, JBF Music and Guitar Lessons. So I don't normally speak in these learn riffs now, I normally just leave the tab up. But since I arranged this one for, I think it's a steel guitar for guitar, I thought it's probably worthwhile going over a few things. So I'm playing with my fingers, you can use a plectrum if you want to, I just have a bit more control this way. So the start is fairly straightforward enough. Now we have that double stop, and this one, what you want to be doing is holding this note still, and then bending this one up a tone to here. So you really want to hear. Overbent it there. There it is. And you can kind of get away with bending it a little bit later. So you can either pre-bend it like I kind of did in the playthrough, or you can bend into it. And then when we go down to here, you're basically just bending both of these up a semitone. So if you didn't want to do the double stops, you could also slide into the notes. So you just work out where you're targeting, what the target pitch is. Yeah, that. And then instead of, you could just slide. But you get, somewhat ironically, you get something that sounds a bit more like a slide if you bend than if you slide. You could probably, as a side note, go into a different tuning and use an actual slide, but I thought let's just keep everything in standard. So those bits are fairly straightforward. Again, if you can kind of let the notes ring into each other for as much as possible. I've got quite a bit of delay and some reverb on to help make the notes kind of meld into each other a little bit more as well. So those bits weren't too bad. This bit's a bit tricky. In this next part, you could get away with missing this top note on the E string, just playing the 12th fret on the D, the 11th fret on the G, and here we're bending the G up a semitone to target here. But if you listen to the recording, the note is also an octave higher, this, which is why I've included these notes on the E string. And that's what we're doing here. Instead of bending the E as well, which you could do if you want a real challenge, I'm just moving that up a semitone as I bend the G string. And keeping my finger on this 12th fret on the D as well. So here you sustain the bend, pick it twice. While the note is still bent, you want to put your third finger down on the G string. So I'm fretting the 13th fret, but because it's bent behind here, we get a higher pitch. We're getting the 14th fret essentially. So that string's bent, third finger's gone on it. Return to pitch, down to the 9th fret. And then you want to bend this up to pitch a tone. I don't let it come back down, you don't want to go. You want to go. So when that gets to pitch, that's when you hit that final note on the 12th fret. If you've got enough gain, compression or finger strength, also if you hammer on this last note from nowhere, it's going to sound a little bit more like a slide. And also you could bring in your whammy bar if you wanted a bit more of that kind of slide style vibrato. As a slight side note, you could also use the whammy bar for bends. So for example, instead of bending those with your fingers, if your bar's set up so there's a bit of give each way, it's a lesson card on the top right for a bit more information on that. You can bend the notes up and down, and you know, like I say, vibrato with this as well to get it sounding more like a slide. If you've enjoyed this and want to learn some more riffs, click that video there. If you want some quick tricks, go here. If you want to stay up to date with the channel, hit subscribe, share, like, comment and enable notifications with a little bell on the side if you feel so inclined. Cheers guys.